So, welcome to the top 10 take home messages around communications and engagement for the Dorset Care Record. And thanks very much for joining. So, in it, number 10 is managing time effectively. I've always been part time, ranging from 2 to 4 days a week on the Dorset Care Record. Prioritising work is vital to meet those deadlines. But don't work all hours, despite the temptation of getting that laptop out at 6 o'clock in the morning. Do take breaks. Go for walks in our fantastic countryside to help your mental health. So at number 9, don't just talk, hear and listen. I'm always much happier when I present to a group to have heard them for at least 15 minutes. You can understand the dynamics, the knowledge of the group, the patience, the tolerance levels. There's nothing worse coming in late to a meeting and being told you're straight on, not understanding the audience. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago back in Poole Hospital when I came to talk to cancer clinicians. I started at a level where I thought they might be, only to be told 5 minutes later that actually they knew very little and wanted me to restart from the beginning. Before doing so, I listened to what they really wanted to hear. In at 8 is positive feedback and diplomacy. We work in a small team and some of us have only seen each other once in person since the start of COVID. We're all different characters, some extrovert, others introvert. Some want to drive things forward at pace, others to cogitate and discuss and debate and look at the minutiae. With COVID, it's been hard to get to know new employees, so do be diplomatic and be as positive in your feedback as you can. I find it helps build trust and relationships. So at 7 is knowledge transfer. I've already mentioned our work with Northern Ireland Electronic Care Record in the main part of this video, but I'm also a member of a group run by Connecting Care, which includes Derbyshire, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, Wessex, Hampshire and others. And I also have monthly meetings with my counterpart in Hampshire, Catherine Guthrie, who leads on communications engagement for CHI. I've talked about our comms approach to East Anglia and to Manchester and to others. Sharing your knowledge is important. It can help save time, money and resources. At 6 is get your governance and IG sorted. It's really important that you as a shared care record do this, but also that staff are up to speed with security, privacy and sharing issues. Our local authority here in Dorset is really good at making us do mandatory training in these areas, not just once, but every year. The last thing you want is an information breach and the Commissioner's office breathing down your neck, fining you. Once that happens, you've lost all credibility. Number 5, have people in the right place, in the right posts. Here's a picture of our team, and they're all in the right posts. This was our volunteering day at the beautiful RSPB Reserve at Arn. With something like the DCR, you do need to be advocates. You need to be disciples, almost evangelists to help carry out change. You don't have to be salespeople. The still, small voice of calm is equally and often more effective. You've got to believe that data does save lives and that your work is encouraging greater fairness and equity across our healthcare system. Here in Dorset, we have some real areas of impoverishment, particularly in Portland and in parts of Bournemouth and Poole. At number 4, be prepared to change at pace. Your customers may first of all say that they want X, and then they'll reconsider and demand Y. And in the end, they plump for something in the middle, Z. And sometimes as a comms professional, that can be really frustrating. You've produced a range of materials for X. It can't be used, and so you start again for Y and then again for Z. But actually, isn't that part of life's rich tapestry? Nothing in life is ever straightforward. It's how you react to the change that's important. Okay, so we're in the top 3 now. I've put number 3, know your audience. Just tell a little story first. One of my worst nightmares that I still relive today was when I was farming editor for a daily paper not far from here. I was asked to do an after-dinner speech for a cattle society. I don't know why. I'd never done one before. I thought, I know, I'll do some dedicated desk research into the cattle society, its history, point out the benefits of Roy's Castle Line genetic pool, and then talk a little about me with a few disparaging jokes. It was a shambles. It was an utter nightmare. They wanted Jimmy Carr or Tim Vine. They got Tony McDougall. I was outside my comfort zone. I didn't know the audience. It was a disaster. So do know your audience. And 2, fairly basic, and some would say this ought to be number 1. But have you got a story to tell? And if you have, make sure you talk up those benefits. Give financial figures if they're robust. Lace your articles, your speeches, your news items with relevant and meaningful, and above all, human interest case studies. And remember to get the best bits out first. So what about number 1? Well, I put down evaluation. Get your metrics right, whether it's campaigns, face-to-face meetings, polls, so that you can show the leadership how your work is contributing towards successful policy outcomes, providing clear evidence of impact and value for money. Or in civil service speak, effective iterative monitoring and evaluation will help you to firstly articulate the quantifiable value and benefit of government campaigns and programs of communications, and secondly, provide actionable insight to improve campaigns on an ongoing basis. Share the results with your colleagues and ICS or local authority leads. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you've got something out of those top 10 take-home messages around communications and engagement.